Much to talk about in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, athletically these days with the Final Four on the horizon. But we're talking football with Jeff Greenberg from inside the ACC. Jeff, how you doing tonight?
Good, Mark. How are you?
Always appreciate the discussion. It's good to have you back, Jeff. So let's talk about Pro Day. And at North Carolina, it's been mighty impressive what Larry Fedora has done from a talent perspective in recent years. And we get more evidence from it based on not just the players on the field, but the attention given to this Pro Day with North Carolina this year.
Yeah, this year basically marks the guys that were ready to go into their Pro Day. This was the guys from the first full recruiting class for Coach Fedora at UNC from 2012. And to say it was an event was an understatement. In terms of at UNC, I don't think they've had an event this big in some time. All 32 teams were there. A few GMs were there, like John Lynch, the new GM at the San Francisco 49ers. The NFL Network was there live with Mike Mayock. The ESPN was there live with Todd McShay. So to say it was an event was definitely an understatement. You know, they were there for the marquee guys. First, starting off the top, Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. They were there to see Ryan Switzer at receiver, Matt Collins at receiver, Bug Howard at receiver. Those three guys were actually all invited to the Combine, which was, I think, one of the few times ever in the history of the ACC that one team has sent their starting three wide receivers to the Combine. But then they were also there to see TJ Logan, who ran the fastest running back time at the Combine, Naj Jones from the defensive line, and then they were really interested to see Elijah Hood, too, at running back because he didn't get to work out at the Combine with a hamstring injury there. So he only got to do the interviews. They wanted to see him live and up close. And a few other guys like defensive back Des Lawrence worked out as well. But it really was a big event for the schools, a big event for, you know, the program when you think about what Larry Fedora has done to rebuild it, and this representing that first full class. So it should bode well for future guys as well. Of course, with Pro Day, if you have a lot of guys at Pro Day, it means you probably have a lot of guys you need to replace. And I think as they start looking towards the spring, you know, on offense, you're looking to replace about 7 starters, definitely 7 to 8 guys that played significant minutes. When you look at the yardage from the offense, they lost 99% of their rushing yards, 98% of their passing yards, 71% of their receiving yards, and 86% of their points walked out the door, including their senior kicker, Nick Weiler. So they've got some work to do on the offense, which typically under Coach Fedora is not a hard thing to do, being an offensive mind. What will be interesting this year, and then maybe a change in what people are used to seeing, is they're probably going to rely on the defense a lot early on in the season. They only lost 3 starters. About 80% of their tackle production is back, including their linebackers Holcomb and Smith, who were ranked 4th and 6th, respectively, in the ACC in total tackles. So not as much work to do on that side. Now, the defense was young last year, so you're still hoping to see that leap from last year to this year with the guys that played a lot. But they have the depth now, I think, on defense to do that. So it will be interesting to see how that takes place at the beginning of the season.